Welcome back. I'm Stephanie Ruhle. Joe Biden is finally responding on camera to accusations from multiple women who say their interactions with former vice president left them feeling a bit uncomfortable. The potential 2020 contender, who is still weighing a White House bid, posted his response on Twitter. He did not apologize, but he acknowledged his actions and said they did make some women uncomfortable.
You know, social norms have begun to change, they've shifted, and the boundaries of protecting personal space have been reset. And I get it. I get it. I hear what they're saying. I understand it. And I'll be much more mindful. That's my responsibility. My responsibility, and I'll meet it. But I'll always believe governing, quite frankly, life for that matter, is about connecting with people. That won't change. But I will be more mindful and respectful of people's personal space.
Just hours after Biden addressed the controversy, 3 more women came forward to the Washington Post with stories of their own. That brings the total number of women who have voiced their concern to 7. Biden's spokesperson did not respond to the latest allegations, but pointed to the video that he posted online. Heidi, David, and Jason back with me. Heidi, to you first, and I have to make it clear again. There are no accusations of harassment or assault. It's about people saying they were uncomfortable. And Joe Biden actually addressed just that. And we all know, people who've been working for the last 20 years, that norms have changed. Literally, today is National Hug a News Person Day. As absurd as that sounds, it is. You do have to ask permission. But things have changed. The fact that Joe Biden went out there and made that video, maybe he should have done it 2 days ago or 1 day, the fact that he did, is that something we all sort of need?
I think so. He definitely had to do something, Steph, and this was probably a good format. It didn't look too scripted. It looked authentic. He is getting dinged by some. There will always be critics for not fully saying the words, "I apologize." But I think we will find out within the next week whether this actually hurt him. Prior to this, the numbers were 73% of Democratic primary voters were either comfortable or enthusiastic about a Joe Biden candidacy. And I think it's very important for us as news people, just like you did, Steph, to point out no accusations here of harassment, no accusations of assault, and that the claims are being made in the context of him, running up into an expected announcement. And so, again, we'll have another round of polling within a week or so that shows whether or not this hurt him. But in the broader context, when you're comparing this to what else is out there in the ethosphere in recent history of our presidential election discussion, I just don't know if this is it, if this is just a few women saying he touched them on the shoulder and it made them uncomfortable, if that's really going to be an ender for his campaign. I just doubt it.
Jason, Stacey Abrams weighed in on this earlier today. I want to share it.
We cannot have perfection as a litmus test. The responsibility of leaders is to not be perfect, but to be accountable, to say, I've made a mistake, I understand it, and here's what I'm going to do to reform as I move forward. And I think we see Joe Biden doing that. We're going to find out things about everybody running for office, whether it's for the presidency or for school board. And we have to, as a people, be ready to forgive, but forgiveness does not mean you accept it unless what you see is accountability.
Jason, what's your reaction? Because what Stacey Abrams is doing there is talking as a person, as a human. Humans don't exist on Twitter.
Right.
Twitter is where people are labeled, vilified, and killed. But in real life, when you talk to people, even about actual Me Too issues, the spectrum is much greater. But when you get on television and when you get on Twitter, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, and even the women who have come forward have been pretty nuanced about it. They're like, I don't think the guy was predatory. I think when you talk about the human factor, Stephanie, it's really key. Joe Biden hasn't just been in public office. He has been in the Senate since he was 29 years old. He has been grabbing people and kissing babies since most of us weren't even born or pretty close to it. So I think in many respects, him saying, hey, look, I recognize social norms. I mean, he's not the grabby grandpa here. He's not chasing people around. He's not grabbing people in the crotch like the current president did. So I think that his response is what we want to see people doing.
Isn't it crazy when you say that? Exactly. I mean, you know, it's not grabbing people by the crotch like
our current president does. Like, yes, because we had to normalize that in order to actually talk about in this context. But that's the thing. Like, you want people to be held accountable. I think anyone who has suffered, I guess for lack of a better word, under his hand would like to hear someone say, hey, look, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. Now, if this is the beginning, right? If there's an oppo dump coming that this turned into something worse, that if a woman said, hey, I won't let you hug me, and he therefore retaliated against her in some way, then okay, this is a setup. But if this is all it is, I think his response was good. Well,
there's also a lot of people, a lot of women who have had interactions with Joe Biden who have come out and supported him. Just yesterday, the mayor of Atlanta, Keisha Lance Bottoms, she tweeted this picture, and she wrote this: everyone's experience is their own. As for mine, I found my interaction with Joe Biden to be genuine and endearing. If he does stand up to, you know what, social norms have changed, let's tighten it up, does he lose character points? Or in a way, does he gain them? Because people love to say, oh, if you're an old white person, you're out of the mix. We need somebody new and modern. What if he takes this opportunity to modernize?
Well, if he handles this right, then he could be in good shape. And I think because the field is so unsettled in any event and people are really looking for somebody strong to support, I think Joe Biden could end up being okay. I think that the political danger for him is too much apologizing looks weak, and it sends a signal that there must be something wrong. I mean, this is sort of how people tend to interpret
Or could this something wrong be, Joe, run already?
Yeah. Well, this is the
Maybe that's the issue.
Yeah, well, exactly. and I think for Biden, right, the issue is if he waits too long and he gets beat up while he's waiting, it starts to make it look like there is something holding him back. So just get in so you can deal with it and fight back, and and to the extent that you need to, also go on the attack against your opponents.
This is like Groundhog Day. You know, Biden's like, I come out, I hear a new harassment thing, and then I disappear for 6 weeks before I'm going to announce. Look, come out and announce. But I also think it's key. Keisha Lance Bottoms and Stacey Abrams are both Southern politicians. They're also used to this kind of behavior. And Joe comes from an era where that's what you did to people when you were trying to run.
All right, then. I think the answer is, Joe, if you're going to run, run. Heidi, thank you so much, gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. Up next.